Hi, I am going to praise or hail or say something about socialism as it is, but you have to listen to me on this. Capitalistic system was in place for 55 or 600 years. I totally don't remember exactly. Maybe 400 years. Until now, there was systems in place that redistributed wealth between the rich, the poor, and the absolutely fake middle class. Today, I see how people are against capitalism, against socialism, like feudals was against capitalism. It's not that socialism is good or bad or I don't know what. Socialism requires some kind of form of tyranny. Socialism and communism, for that matter, requires some kind of I don't know how to say it, collective work, collective responsibility, etc., etc. But in the same time, people acting right now, people right now acting like they are in reaction, in total denial of anything that happened. They don't want world to change, and I perfectly understand that people don't want world to change. I also don't want to that world will change. But what other options do we have in reality? Can we go, I don't know, some kind of libertarianism? We don't. Can we go to some form of anarchy? No, we don't. Can we, I don't know, restore or restart capitalism? Yes, in essence, we can, but for that matter, we have to kill a lot of people, make a lot of people suffer for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and some of that people are you, the people who right now are cheering and protecting basics of capitalism, because rich people would not be hurt. Look at Hitler. He was created to reinstall capitalistic system, because in the beginning of 20th century, capitalistic system have ended, and everything was pretty much occupied by some kind of some of the countries. One country to rule them all, and one to rule them all. It's like the Lord of the Rings. There is ring for Europe, there is ring for Asia, there is ring for America, and one for rule them all is United States. It's very simple to understand concept that United States is a world policeman and world reserve currency. They have share from every dollar that's spent. They can import the debt, export the debt to throw it away from the country. But there is time in capitalism, there is time when every market is acquired, when every consumer is like drawn to the how to say it, not drowned, but drought to absolute zero. People have no money anymore, and today people want to tax the rich, but in essence what people want is to things stays the same, that we continue go on as it's like now, right now, that some few of the richest people in the world control everything, and we the people consume goods that those rich people running around the world sending us common people all over the world, collecting from other countries resources and then redistributed those resources with the dollars. Actually, this kind of form of governing work like this. United States printing the money, give it to other countries as debt, and after people like giving them back. In process, American government get the money. You can't keep the system going as it is. It's impossible. Whether it will be socialism or the great world war that world never have seen before, I guess it will be like the greatest civil war of all times. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, the one who suffer will be the working people. I perfectly understand that you sit in your home, that you pile up the debt, that you buy yourself a house, a car, and you want to keep it. And you want to keep, I don't know, maybe a second home, second house that you buy, or something along those lines. It doesn't really matter what you want. The economic system will be replaced whether you like it or not. Because if that's what people demand, that's what's going to happen. When tops cannot and when bottom cannot live like before, and when the top cannot change anything, it's like the bottom can't and top don't want. Pretty much that's what description of the situation. And then revolution happens. Revolution doesn't create it. No revolution ever was created. Revolution is the popular demand. That's what revolution is. What you're fighting against, it's liberal agenda. It's liberal propaganda from the Western countries, going from Western countries. Liberals want to paint socialism something awful as some ideology or something along those lines, when in reality it's just mixture of communism and capitalism. Therefore, there will be kept some elements of capitalism in upcoming system. But socialism demands that extra rich people leveled to the bottom. It's not like everyone get free stuff. You simply can't work. I don't understand why people think that in socialism or communism something is for free. Actually, it's vice versa. In capitalism, you can just sit home, chilling, and get your welfare, for example, or get your rent from the house that you bought or something that you got from your parents or grandparents. Sit home, chill, relax, and do nothing. In communism, in particular, you just can't do nothing. Just can't. It's simple as that. You have to work. In socialism, it's the same system, only it's governed different way. When everything is belong to the people, it means that the factory you work at belongs to you and your fellow workers, not some manager. It's very effective system in reality. But this mentality of I don't want to lose, I want world go on as it is, I want world continue to be as it is right now, because I don't want to lose, I don't know what you have to lose, pile of the debt. It's stupid. Come on, it's really stupid. You lose it. The only thing you will lose in such conditions is the pile of the debt that you have. That's it. And you simply can't print money into infinity. Even Trump understands it. Even Obama understands that. and Obama stop QE. And yet Trump have to continue QE and go on to print money. That's a stupid idea in reality, to think that socialism is something bad. It's just economical system of relationships between the people and corporations. Corporations in this case also existed, because it's socialism. It's not only just I don't know, people, because some enterprises, some factories, some I don't know, big chunks of the people that work at one place, it's for example, they are like corporations inside the government. Of course they are controlled by government, and of course they absolutely they don't have to make profits, let's say. But there is a huge but that I always talk about, and no one ever tried to kind of address this problem in Russian communist society. If there will be some tyrannical government, and government have to be tyrannical because they have to enforce such idea, not ideology, but idea. It's different things. Democracy, it's ideology. When socialism is not an ideology, and you don't have to act like you think, running around and screaming that socialism is bad, while there was no socialism in reality. And the only attempt to build socialism was very successful. Socialistic country won 2 world wars, pretty much. Not to mention to build twice economy and build second economy in the world. It was attempt to build socialism, yet it wasn't socialism in reality. Sadly, but it's true, I have to admit that it wasn't socialism. And every time someone trying to build socialism in some country, it ends up with capitalistic measures taken, capitalistic ideology implemented, and capitalistic actions is taken. Capitalistic because most of the time it's dictatorship. Most of the time it's dictatorship. If rich people don't want to think about their own well-being, it means that if they don't want to give the money they earn back to the people, invest in economy, in real economy, it's not like in debt. If they don't want to invest those money back, therefore those money have to be taken from those people and invested back by the government. It's simple as that. That's what the idea tax the rich have to meant. If rich people don't want to spend the money inside the country, don't want to invest in economy, in real economy, not in some financial bubbles and stock markets, no. If they don't want to invest those money in economy, then government come in and tax them and take away their money. That's what tax the rich mean. But there is but. Socialism is very, very temporary measure. And what will be after, it's absolutely unclear. But having said that, I have to point out that in current situation, we more and more see nationalistic movement rising. It means that not only the people, but also a country separate them from each other. They don't want to interact with each other. They don't want to dealing with each other. They don't want to take any I don't know, money of each other, sometimes even like it was with Libya. But in reality, what we have right now in modern day world, we have preparations for the huge worldwide civil war, poor against rich. In essence, there is no middle class. The middle class is simply the people who gain a lot of money, but in the same time they're in the huge amount of debt. it cannot work other way. Either you work in, or either you work for, or you work, or somebody work for you. That's pretty much it. There is no other third class in the theory. Yet you have to understand that all preparations, all ideology behind the modern democratic socialism movement, national socialism movement, are libertarian movement, anarchy movement of any kind, conservative movements, nationalist movements, socialistic movements in the world. It's have nothing to do with socialism or communism at all. What you know about communism and socialism is totally created concept in the West. Not that you have to understand that when you and your fellow workers own the company, it's way better than it's some kind of owner own the company and they can fire you. There comes much bigger job security, and you have, of course, you pay in the taxes. Of course, you do in such conditions, because it's mixed economy. In USSR, without taxation, government had it all. It means that you worked for government. It was huge, one single huge enterprise. It's like corporation that have multiple areas of business. That's pretty much it. And you have to treat USSR in later years, you have to treat as big enterprise that paying the dividends for the people that work inside of it. As every citizen of USSR is shareholder. And USSR is a big enterprise. Pretty much that's how it works. It wasn't socialism in reality. And the managers wasn't hired by the people, by the workers. So in such conditions, you have to understand that socialism is only temporary measure. And how it turns out in the end, it's absolutely unclear whether we will step back to capitalism, or we will go forward to some kind of form of communism. It's absolutely unclear what will be after socialism, whether it will be communism or not, because there is simply too much people and no one taking that in account. So in such conditions, we have no other options. Either it will be a great war, which and you will be in that war a cannon fodder. You won't be a beneficiary in this war. You will be the cannon fodder in this war. You will be used, those who are die-hard protectors of capitalism, you are pretty much the cannon fodder for the system. You will be fight for the rights of the rich to still control you, own you, dig you into the heavy debt, etc., etc., etc. You not free. That's all. You have to understand, you have to accept this idea that you not free, that's all. And all this hysteria about they taking away our guns, etc., etc. So what if they even leave you with semi-automatic rifles? So what is going to change? You still can buy a lot of other guns, machine guns, etc. What it change? I don't understand you people. Like, you won't going to protect yourself with your guns. You don't. The first day of the war, 90% of the people will simply run away from the battlefield, because people simply can't hold such intense actions, I guess. And in essence, I read that comment that if someone is a racist and if someone on public share their racist their racist views on you, yeah, you have to comment, hit and punch this man or woman in the face. And their comment, no, you don't have to. You need to only debate, share your opinion, talk, and how to shame this person, etc. That's the pretty much mentality of modern day people. You don't ready for actions. All you want is you to demand from somebody to do something for you, and sit home and pay the taxes. That's not how it works, and never worked like this. If you can't enforce something, therefore you mean absolutely nothing in such conditions. If you have money and you have some influence, it's one question. If you have guns in your hands and your organized army, it's one side of the story. But when you're simply sitting in your home and you're alone and maybe, I don't know, 10 of you or 12 of you or, I don't know, 100 of you, you mean absolutely nothing and on the grand scheme of things. Many terroristic organizations was destroyed, and they contained not 100 but thousands of people, and yet the warriors of such terroristic organizations was destroyed. And you want to tell me that you, with this mentality, demand, shame people, share the truth, etc., you think you waiting that someone else will do the job for you. That is the problem. Who cares how many truths you will share? In the end, there is simply no one who going to enforce this truth. Or, I don't know, enforce the choice of the people. You demand from the people who steal at you to take care of the same people who steal at you. And you think that will work. Because who knows why.